Welcome back, everybody. This is the Refresh Point. My name is Ben, and as always, I'm joined by my constant co-host, Steve. How's it going?
You know what? Pretty exhausted. We got a new puppy at the house, and yeah, that means sleep is down by about 50%. But we're here.
Yeah, you know, my sleep recently has also been cut down a little bit, not by a puppy, but by Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon.
Nice. Is this your first FromSoft game?
Yeah. Realistically, yeah. I started playing Elden Ring with you watching. Yeah. Haven't touched it again.
Yeah.
So now we're back at it with Fires of Rubicon.
I hear good things. Seems people like it.
I also like it. I'm getting a little bit skill checked right now, but you know, as the old saying goes, you just gotta get good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that's part of those games. So.
Yeah. Well, there's also the part where, you know, you can try different builds and you know, and you can even change the builds at the checkpoints.
Right.
So, like, you can go like part way through a mission, get to like the last boss and be like, my build sucks for this. Let me die and just reconfigure.
And speaking of reconfiguring, we've been reconfiguring.
We have been reconfiguring. And we have been saying it a bunch. But now, actually, it's time for regionals. Toronto is tomorrow, at time of recording. And so, in anticipation, Steve, in particular, has been reconfiguring our deck that we've cooked up a little bit in the kitchen, and we'll touch back on where that's at right now. Dengeki Bunko is robbing all of the actual anime fans in this community for their lives and livelihood. The Canadians, with tomorrow's regional, will get the first strike at Worlds qualification, and also a Bone Daddy-less meta.
That's true.
And we're just gonna have to figure it out, since somebody lived through Triple Gura with video evidence, and we will have to send them a shirt. But all that and more right after you shuffle your decks, tap or cut, and we'll get right into the refresh point with some breaking news. So, a little awkward. Somebody at our local did live Triple Gura. Actually, 2 people did. And that was a little awkward. You know, we really should have set the standard a little higher, like lived Triple Gura at level 3.
Yeah, I mean
Triple Gura maybe with all burn ones, but you can look at the clip. I'm gonna put it in the description because I don't really want us to sit here and just like watch him do it for like 2 minutes of attacking or whatever. But this guy at our local is playing Alice, compressed to God. He's at 2-0. He comes out the other side of triple 2-3. He didn't even level up.
Wow. That's the most insane blocking I've ever seen.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know what to say.
He's compressed to hell and back.
Well, also, you gotta be extremely lucky, because just because you're compressed doesn't mean you'll block. Ask anyone who's played Weiss.
True. As of time of recording today, the Bone Daddy is out. Ainz is here. Sorry, Nazarick, Tomb of the Undead.
Yeah, we don't want to get sued.
Is released. We've been discussing it heavily, but as we've alluded to, it's not legal tomorrow at Toronto.
No.
So we will be talking about that in the Spike Corner. But before that, do you hear that, Steve?
Oh, I do. It's like a high-pitched noise, but somewhat far away, but approaching rapidly.
Yeah, because it's time for whale sighting.
We haven't had a good whale sighting in a while, and what better time to bring up a whale sighting than the release of the Dengeki Bunko set, which has a pretty toxic setup, if we can be honest with ourselves here.
Yeah. All of this anime, all of these shows and series with, SP climaxes, new SPs, even new SAO cards, GGO cards, and all sorts of stuff. How many SPs are in the case?
3.
Ooh.
How many SPs are in the set? 86! This might be the worst thing they've ever done in terms of just grabbing the community and just shaking them, just turning them upside down and shaking them down.
Man, like
it's
Yuyute's already dead. Like,
everything's gone. Everything's gone. It's toxic.
It's already gone.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know how many cases. For people who don't play the Japanese game, and we don't talk about the Japanese game very much, so you'll have to forgive us for dallying, but this is too incredible to ignore. The Yuyute opens a 3-figure number of cases every single release. This is the largest card dealer in all of Japan in terms of online dealers. And literally anything that's even remotely viable is gone.
Yeah. Just
gone.
Just gone.
And so we can kind of just we're not going to talk about the mechanics at all. That's not relevant. Whales don't care about mechanics. Why should we? But what we're going to talk about here is Dengeki Bunko has got incredible waifu potential.
I'm honestly surprised that there is still Kirito and Asuna signs.
Yeah.
Although that might just be because they bought them from people.
Yeah, also, it could be because there's a Kirito on it. You'll note that the Asuna only is twice as much and sold out. Not for nothing, but these people know what they like. Anyway, just at a very high level, the other thing that's kind of going on in this space is some of these characters were part of old Legacy Weiss sets and have not received cards for a very, very, very long time.
Excel World got a combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Shauna is our big winner in terms of value. We are talking $2,000 for one copy of this Shauna, and there's one in stock. So if you have $2,000 and you want to rapidly be without it,
it probably won't be there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna say I am actually attempting to edit this episode quickly for once, but also even then, it might just not be there tomorrow.
I mean, what can you even say except like the climax? There's a climax that's with it as well. That's $1,200.
I can't believe I didn't even really look at it that much until today.
It's intense.
It's so many signs.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Yeah, and so your Shauna cards are very, very expensive, and so we also have a $1,200 Asuna, which makes a whole lot of sense because that's it's Asuna.
Sure
but we also have a $1,500 Strike the Blood SP for the protagonist Yukina. Then we have,
I think it's because she's like also like a relevant combo.
Yeah, that's the other part of it, is that wherever that Venn diagram touches, you could be certain there will be tremendous whale potential.
You said the whales don't care about mechanics, but
somebody does.
Yeah.
So we also have Kuroyuki Hime that's rapidly encroaching on $1,000. And we've got Taiga that's flirting with $600. We've got tons of $600 SPs, like absolute tons of them. We've got several near $1,000 SPs, and we've got a good chunk of $700-ish SPs, followed by a steep fall off into the normal human range of like 500 or less.
Okay, you know what really annoys me about this set as well, as somebody that just like has very little Weiss sets, but like likes to hold on to them.
Yeah.
There are GGO cards that I really would unironically tech into like any GGO deck whatsoever. And it's really annoying to me that they're gonna be just in this Dengeki Bunko set, dead forever.
If there's one thing that is uniformly true and painful about the English Weiss experience, it is that some stuff just stays over there and never comes back. And Bunko sets are not exclusively that way. I think we all thought they would be.
True.
But we did get some eventually.
Yeah.
But this one is not going to be one of them.
No.
No.
Not on your life.
No. I'm afraid not. So if you have any interest in Dengeki Bunko, you will be needing to buy that in Japanese because I'm saying it, there's no way that it will ever come to English Weiss. That's just how it is. I'm sorry. But
now
on the
clip that. Whenever it comes out, we'll replay it and we'll.
And I'll eat that. Crow. I'll eat the crow live.
Yeah, we can eat that.
But feel free to also remember that when stuff comes to English, it also triples in price. So,
yeah, not great.
Maybe you don't want it to come to English. The other thing we could talk about in terms of whale sighting, as you mentioned earlier, we have the Overlord release.
Yeah, and it turns out most of the SPs kind of suck.
Yeah,
in pricing.
Yeah,
going against your own rule that you just said, this Shaltier SP is $100 basically.
I guess nobody likes that character or something. I don't know.
I remember that. I distinctly remember that Brainstormer going for like $400, $500 from set 1.
I think that
this is a combo. This is the main meta combo. Yeah,
the two big combo pieces are worth very little. And I believe that is purely because they are not Albedo. If there's anything,
you know what? That's fair.
Yeah,
maybe.
It seems that Albedo is the only character that can consistently hold value from this set, which is a little strange. Now, I'll predict this. I think people might be sleeping on the effectiveness of this deck. And I think that I believe it will do well. Okay. We won't know until for a few weeks, but I believe that it will do well. And when it starts to do well, I predict that those items will rise in value. Maybe not a lot, but some. And as people go to max rarity, right?
I feel like the Shaltier has to spike harder.
The Ains has to as well. Or Ains. The Ains has to as well. It's like 120 for the meta
finisher.
bar. Yeah, the bar
just
combo.
The finisher.
And of course, to the surprise of no one, the Albedo that does fuck all is worth $600.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just like there's nothing more consistently holding value in Weiss Schwarz than Albedo and Asuna. They could literally do fuck all nothing, and they would. It's $500. That's the cost of entry minimum. That's the floor. When you walk in, that's the minimum. It only goes up from there. It's insane.
Yeah,
you guys need help. You need legitimate help.
That's the life. Now, not often do we spot a whale within our midst, but Steve, I hear there's a King of Fighters set coming out.
Yeah.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
What are we thinking?
So
what do we want?
we have a very weird distribution because it's one of those premium boosters. So it's got the strange, like, extra booster-ish style layout. A lot of foils. But we'll see. I don't play that much JP, and in general, I try to keep my investments more English focused. But the foils have the moves on them, and that looks cool as hell.
Special input foils hit me right in the soul, dude.
Yeah, those look really good.
Those look sick.
So if I can, Kyo or Mai or Terry or.
Are you okay?
Yeah, exactly. Or Geese, or I'm a fan.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
And maybe King, the cards that are like more, or Kyo, some of the more useful cards. Maybe that's the right angle, but we'll see.
How much are you getting?
So I'm splitting a case with somebody, so it's gonna be a lot of boxes.
All right, okay.
Okay. So we should have quite a few foils. I don't know what the science situation is. It's not gonna be great.
You know, not often do we have to turn our harpoons against each other, but
Every once in a while. You know, I was on the fast track to max rating my Alice deck, and then I slammed on the brakes the second I saw the ban list. I was like, whoa, hold on a minute. My slow roll is gonna pay off here. It's still like $1,000 of foils, but still, we're not all the way in. We can back up. So, Bushiroad, have mercy. Please do a better job with the English ban list when you come for us. But yeah,
and I guess on a final bout of friendly fire, it's guaranteed they used her as an advertisement image during Evo for the Guilty Gear set. May does have a Hungry Clicker illustration, which means it's guaranteed to have an OFR. And dang.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see the value of that set on release, because
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So there are OFRs.
Yeah.
Also hot stamp SPs.
Yeah.
Also the secret
Yeah, of course.
by our Lord and Savior Daisuke.
We'll see what the
Daisuke's vision.
Yeah, we'll see what the whales demand. A lot of times they have weird feelings about stamps. A lot of times they have weird feelings about signs that are not from voice actors. But generally speaking, we know their feelings on OFRs, and the feelings are usually good.
Yeah. If we look to Kobayashi, the feelings were pretty good.
Yeah.
On OFRs.
Yeah.
Except for Elma.
Yeah.
Which was nice. I got that for $40.
I got decisive on the Alicization OFRs, and I did not regret it after I saw what happened to that market. So
Yep.
be decisive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. And while the Overlord SP prices are not great yet, we won't even know how much they'll spike to, because tomorrow it's not legal. Toronto, we're in the spike corner, baby. And now it's time to look at the only boneless meta of the season.
All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about Toronto. So if you're gonna be playing in this event, you should know all the usual suspects at this point. We've been talking about them for weeks.
There will be Gura.
You know them.
And Gura-related accessories.
I know them, and we're all very familiar with them. It's gonna be full of sharks, perhaps lady knights, and an assortment of other unfriendly casted characters.
Some redheads,
yeah,
perhaps.
You could be certain.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let's talk about it. What should you do? Hopefully you've been playing against Gura. Hopefully you've been taking some of our advice about how to handle Gura. I'll say this. One of our locals teched in some back row freezing into the Alice build. Because Alice has a blue 0 that comes from the anniversary set that you can easily tech in. It's like 3k power, and it's got freeze.
And it also, doesn't it do something else?
It's reveal the top and gain power, and then freeze.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So
Sure.
it's big, and it freezes. Biggish, and freezes.
Sure.
But adding just one of those makes that matchup feel so much more winnable. Because the biggest thing about Gura is they have a timeline. They're going to be damaging themselves a lot. And they need to keep the game rolling at a breakneck pace. They want to just be racing the damage down on you and on themselves simultaneously. And even just adding a little bit of disruption to that makes them very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and especially right now.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it's unless, even if they've been playing it like since it's been in JP, and you know, you've been hit with the shark since the early days, let's say, it's still not been like multiple years of like refined, knowing all the lines, knowing all the disruption, knowing how to handle everything. Odds are, if you can disrupt an Ame moving forward, especially a Gura moving forward, right? Like, these are wrenches that will disrupt the game plan heavily.
Yeah, so the other thing is, anything you can do to cut into their resources. Being able to avoid getting reversed by Ame denies them a tremendous amount of resources. They don't build resources super well. And so they rely heavily on that 1 damage for 3 stock trade. And anytime you deny it by freezing Ame, anytime you deny it by bouncing or running away, anytime you deny it by becoming unreversible, you make their game plan so much harder. It's also a crappy body on defense, and it doesn't have hand on court. So, and they definitely don't want to pay to keep it around. So they are vulnerable to disruption. Now, can you just die anyway? Sure, you can just die anyway. That's part of the part of the strength of the deck.
Yeah.
The reason that I believe it to be one of the best decks in the meta is because you can just die. From 2-4 with double Gura, you can just die.
But we don't need to make it easy.
Correct. You need to You need to make it as difficult as possible. It's the same reason that if you leave your house, you probably lock the doors because it's a good idea and it deters casual problems, right? Meanwhile, we all know that we're 1 hammer away from being inside. We should make them have it. We shouldn't just be like, well, fuck it, let's just accept death, right? That's not a good strategy. So
make them have the hammer.
Yeah, make them show you that they can set up the resources correctly.
Make them have the shark.
Yeah, make them show you that they know how to play the deck. Make them show you that they know how to play around your disruption. Now, if you want to play Danmachi at this event, now is the time.
Dude, it's gonna be so sick.
This is gonna be the best possible scenario for Danmachi. They are not great against Overlord, but by God, are they good against Alice and Hololive.
And Slime, honestly.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Good enough. And so, this is the time for if you've been playing that deck and you didn't think it was really great or you thought it was fringe or whatever, this is the time to be flexing. Flex your knowledge, get in there and take some risks with a deck that has a shit ton of upsides. And honestly, it doesn't have a whole ton of super bad matchups. So
break out the knife on their asses.
Yeah.
Get them.
Boom. I mean, that deck has got a lot that it brings to the table. And so I hope to see somebody do well with it. There's been a few people kind of lurking on the fringes with it in online events or at Springfest that did really, really well with it. And so I hope that continues because decks like that are really important to having a healthy meta. If we're all playing the same 3 things, then it gets very stale very quickly. So I'm glad that there's a few decks out there that are pretty good in the meta, and you honestly won't have practiced against them very much. And part of that makes your plays uncertain. The more practice you get against something, the more you see the same lines of play over and over and over and over again. So the people that your local environment is a huge determining factor in your ability to play against certain matchups. If your local embraced Alice and half of it has been running Alice the entire time, you could probably play that matchup in your sleep, for better or worse, because you've just been playing it forever. But Danmachi never really was that deck. It was never that deck that was yeah, let's play it.
It was not ever BDIF.
It was that deck that people picked up, saw it was really actually super annoying and hard to play, and put it right back down where it was. They're like, man, this deck is not very fun to play. Yeah.
I don't know about this one. Yeah. I mean, that's the life sometimes, but some people have still been playing it the whole time.
Oh, for sure. And
so we'll see.
Torch decks have always been those decks, though. Even with Goblin Slayer, even with Kaguya, now with Danmachi, it's always been the type of deck that
I
attracts.
guess Don Machi was before Kage.
Yeah. All three of those are kind of in the same vein, where it's like, this is a type of deck that a certain type of player really likes to play, and everybody else is like watching themselves kill themselves, and is like, I hate Torch, and they just throw the deck right in the trash.
Yep.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, I hope it does well. It's a deck I really like, and I think is very reasonable.
On a moral level, I hate people that can torch correctly. it just annoys me to no end. Where you like, check 3, block on 1, check 2, block on 1, check 1 for fun, then block on 1. It's like, man, fuck you.
The thing is that everybody will say that there's a right and a wrong way to torch. You know, everybody's got their own methodology for it.
And like, especially if they reveal a climax in the torch, then block
then
on
still
1.
Block anyway.
It's like,
yeah, the thing about it is that you have the math people, right? They're all in one corner together saying, all nodding to each other that are like, do not fucking torch on your opponent's turn. Just don't do it. Yeah. Unless it's gonna clear the deck completely, you know that it's all damage cards. Do not torch.
Yeah.
Because torching has the possibility of removing blocks, always. Top card could be a block. Second card could be a block. Third card could be a block. You don't know. And you never will know. And you also have the additional wrinkle with Danmachi and with Kaguya of, you have a guy on board that's like, did you just torch? Do you want to try and draw and discard? And of course you do. So you have to work that into the process.
Yeah.
So if you want to play it in the absolute safest math way, you have all the math people like, right? You torch on your turn, and you get that deck down to fuck all nothing. You stock 3 clean cards, and then you refresh. That's how you use the torch. Or you torch down to a level where you can torch on your opponent's turn and clear the rest of that shit out. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Right? So if we got 5 damage cards on the bottom, well, now we don't.
Yeah.
Right? So we can get some cheating compression.
Yeah.
Now, I think that that's a very salient way to play the game. But sometimes, the game's not going the right way. Sometimes, we gotta take a little more risk than that. And then, my advice to you, if you are torching on your opponent's turn, do not reveal more cards than you can tolerate. You need to assume that whatever you reveal is going to be the worst possible thing you could reveal.
It's been a while since we've said this.
Yes.
Well, you know.
It needs to be reiterated. Anytime we talk about Torch, please understand.
In case you forgot.
The top 4 cards can all be climaxes. You have no idea. So if you reveal a climax, you need to be prepared for the idea that the next card might also be a climax. And so if you see a character, and maybe they're not the best thing you ever could draw, but it's something, and it's not a climax, sometimes it's okay to stop. And just because you see a climax does not preclude future climaxes. Do not let any sort of whack non-math enter your brain. Okay? You don't know what the deck looks like at all. You have no clue. And people are more than willing to be like, I'm out 1. Fuck it. And they'll check 4 and kill themselves. And so it's like, the fewer of them that are out, the more that are in, my guy. That's how that works. So it's the same rules as Brainstorm, just even higher stakes.
Yeah, the classic. On the topic of salient advice in general, as we wrap up the Spike Corner as well, you don't have to hit the enemy to level 3. This is not, you don't have to do that.
No.
This is not required. You don't have to look at them with Gura back. You couldn't freeze it, you couldn't punch it. You don't have to hit them to 3.
No.
There's nothing telling you you have to do that. I want to make sure you all know this.
Yeah, it's really important in this era of Weiss, which is very, very volatile finishers with a lot of packets, and it's not just Gura.
Now then, Overlord, you definitely want to hit that bitch to 3, but it's not even relevant right now.
Right.
So, you know.
There's different strategies for every deck, but if you don't think you can tolerate what they're about to bring down on you at 3, don't do it. Just don't
stop.
just pass. Or side attack. Like, you can side attack and generate the stock that you would have generated anyway, and you get all of your resources, and they don't get the damage that they need to level up. Now, if they heal down, it's very bad. If they can force themselves to level up, it is what it is. But much like the previous advice, you need to make them have it. Like, you need to make them show you that they can do it.
And in my experience, like, unless the Gura player is like super expecting it, they're not gonna have more than like, I don't know, 1 Suisse to heal with, maybe 2. And at that point, sure, they're at 2-2.
They cracked a lot of resources to do that, though.
Yeah.
Because that's a 4 more early play healer.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you just pitched a lot of cards.
Yeah.
This finisher takes cards.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, you need to make them show you that they can... If your win condition is to stop attacking, and their win condition is to be level 3, or to be lower on damage, they need to show you that they can fulfill their end of the deal. If they can't, then you get to... The pendulum swings back in your favor. But if they can, then it becomes a drama situation. And the game always demands it.
But, like, let's be clear here. Gura spending the resources to clock themselves from 2-4 to 3 is always going to be better than you doing it for them for free.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
And that's how it is.
Yeah.
And with that, let's dive back into the kitchen. Steve, how's Suisse?
So let's talk about it for a second.
We both tried it. We tried some variations on a Suisse.
We did 2 different builds, and then Ben played some of my build. I didn't play any of his build, though I wanted to, and I think that it's reasonable. So we got, as expected, when you make something for the first time, it's gonna be not as great as it could be. And in some of the matchups where I thought we would for sure excel, we did. So I played, I think, 5 games against Overlord and never lost.
Nice.
Because they literally can't play the game. Like, the matchup's unwinnable. So
I don't know about unwinnable.
it is
but...
highly unfavored, we'll say. 90,
Okay.
We'll call it a 90-10.
Sure.
So they have a way to win.
Yeah.
The way to win is, like, clobbering you.
With just burn ones.
With burn ones.
Yeah.
And, like...
And healing,
Yeah. But it's not very good, and it's not very efficient. So they're just not great at winning that matchup. They can't use their end game. It's very difficult. And they also lose the value of their pseudo weird compression from putting markers under ions. So that matchup works great. Fantastic. 10 of 10, no notes. But the Gura matchup and the Slime matchup we'll talk about for a bit. I didn't get a chance to play against Alice because it feels like I'm the only person in DFW playing Alice. There's like 2 of us playing Alice.
Yeah, there's actually not a lot of people playing Alice right now in DFW.
There's 3 of us.
We're all sick of it.
There's 3 of us playing Alice, and it's pretty much like me and 2 other people, and so if I don't play against them, I don't get to play against it. I did play some Gura matchups. They went generally okay. We ran into some power problems that I was not anticipating.
Same. So my issue is the power issue is this. If we spawn Suisse as we do with the climax, that's a 13k. Now then, if we have something in front of us that beats 13k on a punch, which honestly, not unlikely in the current metagame, it's a little roughy.
Yeah, so that's where I assumed your build would excel, is that the semi-dangerous situations you would just put down the
Anya.
Yeah.
So I agree. I feel like a little bit of a skill issue. Like, I was just like having issues getting Anya. and everything else.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think the only thing with it is, and as most, I guess, stock mechanics generally are, it is a coin flip. And if you lose the coin flip, damn, that hurts. I think honestly it might be just a little too much with having like too many deck slots dedicated to having Laplace, finding Laplace, having the resonate, and also getting Suisse, the Suisse fine, the Anya, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
It feels a little too clunky for my personal taste.
Yeah.
As fairly entertaining as the deck was.
I feel like you can just... Does the Anya require the resonate, or can you just jam it?
You can just jam it, but the issue is just like getting it along with everything else, because it's just like obviously resonate is cool, it's not selective.
Yeah.
And then it's just like if we can't get it when we Chloe, or we only get off like 2 Chloes, then it's like, well, it has to be Suisse and the early play Suisse part, and sometimes just don't have the Anya.
Right.
And that's the life.
So, what were your thoughts on the Corone build? Did you have a chance to play it?
I did have the chance to play Corone. My only issue with the deck is that I feel like it performs best whenever I can jam it twice. As, to be fair, most decks feel pretty great about jamming their 1 combo in twice.
Yes.
But, especially that deck, like, if I only got off 1 Corone and now I'm at level 2...
1 set of Corone, or...
No, just one.
Just one.
Just 1 Corone.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh,
we're...
Yeah, that's disgusting.
We are out.
That's
terrible.
terrible. Yeah.
We are feeling awful. Not that that's not the same with most any other deck.
Right.
But like...
In particular,
it felt like I'm bleeding hand, I'm bleeding resources. If the Brainstormer doesn't hit, we're out. You know, we're top decking.
So it was my experience that I felt pretty resource choked also in a lot of ways when playing it. And
the big issue for me is that even though Muna is great at contesting Alice, at the end of the day, that's still not a Corone.
Yeah.
And like, we kind of need 2 Corones to go off.
Yeah.
I feel like that's our like bare minimum. We need 2 Corones to go off on the Corone turn for it all to work out.
Yeah. And I think that I think you have to play it as according to need.
Also, my vote, just have the Sora Brainstormer instead of the Matsuri Brainstormer.
Yeah, I considered that also because
we gotta keep the Suisse on board. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's cheaper that way. We're not getting money anywhere else.
Yeah. So we'll see. We're gonna keep making changes to it, and we'll continually update it. But off the cuff, my initial thoughts are I want a 2-1 of some kind, and
I liked Ame. By the way,
and yeah, the Amelia may be the 2-1 that enters the deck.
It might be, yeah. So I did make some adjustments to your list before I tried it. You mentioned you wanted a 2-1. I put in Ame. Whenever things were working out and I had Ame, it was pretty funny. Because it was just be like, all right, I'm gonna resonate. And then I'm going to put down Suisse and heal. So we're at net neutral. And then I'm going to kill a guy and have money so that I can double/triple Suisse you next turn.
Yeah. So that was I think that thought is correct. So I will also find a way to work Amelia into the deck, because until she gets restricted in some way, she's a tremendous value engine. And
yeah,
Suisse
absolutely.
has the ability to offset at least one of her. To keep the damage like appropriate. So I like that. I think it I think it needs some more massaging, but there's definitely something there.
right now, I just feel like there's too much clunk
Yeah.
in how we've built it so far.
Yeah.
Um,
We might need to trim some of the quantities of some cards and go a little more selective.
you know the funny thing, I was actually kind of thinking about the duck again, the Suba combo, which I feel like technically, theoretically, it shouldn't feel great either because it's not selective, which is something you kind of desperately need. You need, right, like 2 to 3 pieces. Realistically, 3. You need the Suisei 0, the 3-2, and a 2-1 of choice, right? Whether it's Anya or Ame. I don't believe in the Oni. I don't believe in Ayame in this list just because of, like, resource.
Which one?
What is it?
The
The
healer?
downgrade.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I found the downgrade to be critical.
Oh,
Like absolutely
critical.
in some matchups.
Okay, well, I'll have to play it some more and watch you a bit,
I think I
but-
played a matchup where I played 2 of them in one turn.
Jeez.
Like, it just... They wanted to keep Gura.
Okay. I mean, look, I feel like I'm too poor for that shit, all right?
Yeah. But that's the thing, is that I feel that if I sacrifice all my resources, but you have to sacrifice all your resources, that I'm ahead in that trade.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, the one thing that's interesting to me and that I want to try is introducing a third combo.
Oh, God.
Because I'm concerned...
You want to add more clunk to the clunk list? We just said that the issue with the list was that it's too clunky. Get a load of this guy, chat. They're just coming in with a third combo? What, we just gonna jam Marine for fun? Man, fuck you. He fucking looked away. He was like, yeah, I was thinking about jamming in Marine. We jammed in Marine everywhere else. And, you know, Suisei is just worse Marine, so why not just have better Marine?
I mean, you're making all my arguments for me.
I fucking hate you. So let's interrogate this point. How the fuck are we gonna play Marine?
We'll have to sacrifice some other pieces.
Okay. Alright. What do we sacrifice for Marine if you want to try this god-awful shit?
Yeah, I think it was more just like just entertaining a thought.
Okay,
But
alright.
it's not like super duper I think maybe adding the Aqua from set 2 is kind of a real idea because it's like a non-climax related.
Yeah, the off finisher Aqua, I actually believe it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
The thing about Marine that's so tempting is that like this thing takes no fucking work at all to set up. And it kind of just does itself and it's dirt cheap. And so in the Sora list, what was nice about having Marine around was that even if you blew all of your money and you were just pretty much flat broke, there was a way to like produce an end game that would win. And this is not that deck probably, but
I don't think so. but
it's one of those
mean-
things that like I don't know. I keep thinking about it in the back of my mind where I'm like, you know, what if we just had Marine?
See, you know,
I just want this.
you went to worse Marine, and now you come crawling back.
Yeah, I think I wanted the Suisei for the matchups where she's absolutely devastating, which is the Hololive and Overlord matchups.
Sure.
But she's not super great into Alice, and she's not super great into Slime, if we can be honest with ourselves.
No,
Because-
I don't think so.
Because the problem is that you have to put something in the front row for Slime. And like even their little modest shitters have a decent amount of power to threaten you with. Now, if you set your board up correctly, and you have like Amelia against Murin, and then Suisei against their 2-1 support, and then somebody against their shitty Brainstorm, then maybe it's fine. But the few times I played against it, I got absolutely blasted by power and by counterstep. So I'm not 100% sure on that matchup. Doesn't feel that great. Other guys having hexproof means that your downgrader is totally useless. So yeah, not 100% sure about that matchup. But
yeah,
the two matchups where it feels good, it feels really good. So
yeah. You heard some clicking. I'm just going back through all the one combos again.
They all suck. Hololive's one combos are some of the worst one combos in Weiss Schwarz.
Dude,
a lot of them need reversing, and a lot of them...
I hate reversing, but I also want a different color from blue. I don't want to play Mume.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just too selfish, but like,
yeah,
I don't really want to play Mume.
It's an alright combo, nothing great, but it's fine.
I like choice, so like, yeah, we've got Crony. There's just like, you
could play Watame and reduce your risk if you were
two sigs, I guess.
You were interested in that, and it gives you some pseudo selectivity and pseudo deck speed.
Pseudo deck speed, yeah.
So I mean, one more card of deck speed if we're being honest with ourselves, because Corona is gonna search. So
or you could play Mume because that's also more deck speed. But
yeah, it's slight, but it's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, realistically, there's not a lot of great one combos in this set. You don't have the right setup for Mori really, and
Mori is
very trigger related, and so you can't really set that up or use it. And the Chloe combo is fine, but as you noted earlier, it's got the Lafollette strap to it. The problem with some of the other combos that are reasonable, like Okayu, is that they're bar. And I promise you will lose if you play bar pants. Or like, you will lose. You will lose every game. Like, that is just the climax hell combo. You can't play it.
Uh-huh.
And so, as much as I would like to, because I like that combo a lot, because it's just set up and play. And green has got a lot of good stuff to offer. But realistically, I think we're locked into these three colors, and we don't have a whole lot of room to wiggle. If with the way it's constructed now, we need to... I think this is the combo setup. I think yellow blue is the combo setup. I like the red blue, but as we've indicated, there's a lot of problems with it. The only other red combo that's even worth entertaining is the IMA, but that feels like a heartbreaker combo in the making, because it has to check into ones or higher. And Hololive decks just tend to be bottom heavy.
Yeah, it really does.
With as good as their zero game is.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think it's just an optimization angle where if we keep iterating, then we can arrive at a place where we feel happy about most of our matchups.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think if we add more selectivity pieces and then trim off some of the stuff that's matchup specific, then it'll feel a little better. So trimming off some of the stuff like Muna, or... I
think Muna can definitely be a 2 of.
Yeah, and then trimming down the... then you can raise up your some of your other things that you want to have every single time. And you can add more stuff that you're not running now. And you could trim off the downgrader. You could trim off like some of the pieces that are like, for specific matchup pieces. We can trim those off. Anything besides, like, we don't need any more tech for the matchups that are already good. So I would say that it's be better to just have 4 of some of the stuff that's like search salvage, and then just pick up the stuff you need.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. But
we're not gonna stop. We're not gonna stop.
We're not gonna stop. Well, at least Steve's not gonna stop. I have slime. And Slime's been good to me. So
I mean,
I will be playing Slime for the most part to regionals.
In the interest of full disclosure, I will be playing Sword Art at Chicago.
Yeah.
Because I've been playing Sword Art.
Or rather, I'm going to be playing Slime at Chicago.
And that's because I've been playing it for months.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a pretty decent gap between Chicago and Houston.
True.
And so in that gap will be the time to experiment, because we'll have a good, steady feed of results during that time.
You know, speaking of experimenting, somebody else also brought up the idea of a specific list of Tokyo Revengers for fun. There's a freezer. It's on a stock bomb. Their idea for for troublesome matchups is a 2-1 assist that's pay 1 risk to downgrade. So downgrade on tap.
Wow.
And then just compress
the standard nonsense.
Standard nonsense. Compress down, get money. Who cares about your board? You only swing with 2 guys at a time anyway. Now, we don't have empty door, so they're running a choice combo that's on a 0 that can give a character just trigger twice if you mill a character. And I mean,
it's better than nothing.
No events really, so if we hit the climax, sucks to suck, but
yeah,
that means you didn't trigger a climax, and
fair enough.
There you are.
It's a set I'm not that familiar with, because
I think, of all the dark horses, I do think Tokyo Revengers is a dark horse that should still be considered.
It's incredibly spooky.
Also combining potentially their idea didn't have enough slots for it, but there's the idea to combine Pachin, right, with the standard nonsense, and kind of option select into having an insurmountable board, of like 16Ks, or dual laning,
right, and either way building like unbelievable resources for a very dangerous finisher. It's a deck that just didn't become that popular here for whatever reason.
But I really do think
and I feel it's to our detriment, because
it's not missing the legs for sure.
I wish we had some more people playing it locally, because I don't even know anybody that owns it locally. And
there's one or 2 people.
Yeah. And it's just not getting played consistently, and so it's not a matchup I'm very comfortable with. It's not a matchup I'd prefer to see, because I have faced it before. And decks like this, in case you're curious, why you see one of stock swaps in decks, it's for decks like this, because you may never ever play that stock swap, but you need to show your opponent the stock swap. Let them see that you have it, so that they will respect you. Because part of the reason why quintuplets is going to struggle in this upcoming meta, in my opinion, is they don't have one.
True.
And they have no way to make you respect them. And so they have to rely on keeping the game at a relatively frantic pace, because they can't let you compress too much. You'll just block them down, and then they lose.
Yeah.
So, Nino in particular has to keep the game moving in a relatively aggressive pace, which she can by just triggering every attack. You're checking 2 on damn near every attack you do. So, I mean, that's a thing. But for stuff like Tokyo Revengers, where they're going to have 19 stock in the end game if the game goes well, if you don't show them that, they will compress you into oblivion. And it's just you just lose. Even if there's 3 climaxes in there, you still lose.
Because it turns out 3 climaxes and 19 stock still means they're compressed.
Yeah, it's just they have an unholy amount of compression, and a lot of decks can do it now. Alice can do it. Slime can do it. Like, they can reach these compression levels in the mid game and late game where it's just like, it feels hopeless if you're at 3 and they're at mid 2 with great compression. It feels like there's no way to win. And so if you run,
as evidenced in the clip below,
yeah,
that guy lived triple Gura
easily,
and he didn't even
easily.
Yeah, like he didn't even go to 3.
Yeah, and so there is a compression level that will make you lose the game if you can't do anything about it. And the do anything about it is the stock swap. Now, it might cost you your end game and you might lose anyway. But in a lot of situations, it becomes the YOLO that you kind of send into the void, where it's like, we're going to try some stuff because if I leave the game in the state that it's in, it's guaranteed losing. And so that I've never been a fan of, especially level 3 ones. The level 0 ones are way better. And obviously Buns for Luck is incredibly better than anything else. But the 0 ones at least let you threaten your opponent at a vulnerable time where they won't want to pay out. And they can get hit into a very bad state. And it becomes very hard to win.
I mean, honestly, that's the reason why you still gotta keep just like one good eye open for Mob Psycho, just in case. Just remember, they do have a level 0 stock swap.
But in reality, use that one eye to keep it open for Slime because they have one too, and it's real
I mean, you
bad.
should know about Slime. No. You should know about the Slime one. But like, let's say, you don't have somebody that's played it in a while. It's obviously not good.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a good one combo. The finishers are But like, don't forget, you can get YOLO'd.
Yeah.
With Takoyaki. And that is not good.
No. And I think that as like kind of a final point for that whole idea, if you're unfamiliar with your opponent's deck, this is, as we go into regionals, I feel like this is good advice, especially if you're new to card games or new to competitive games. It is not rude or disrespectful in any way to ask to read one of your opponent's cards if you don't know what it does. Do not ever rely on your opponent to explain a card to you.
If it's public information, you can ask.
You just need to look at it yourself and read it and make sure you understand it. Because
That's
while your opponent may have the best of intentions, they may have played the card so many times that they leave out a small but critical point about what the card does, or its power, or how it gains power, or one of the kicker mechanics that doesn't come up very often, but all of a sudden it did for some reason. Like, just spend 30 seconds, or whatever, 10 seconds, reading the card, and read what it does. Because nothing will feel worse than losing a game to a card that you didn't know what it did. And you had a way to play around it, and just didn't. Because you didn't know what it did. That's the type of loss that does not feel very good. So, please read the cards. And
Please RTFC.
Yeah, and it's not disrespectful. Like, in no way should your opponent resist you if you say, hey, do you mind if I look at that?
Honestly, if they resist you, that's like even worse.
Time to call a judge.
Yeah,
honestly.
Read the fucking card.
So, yeah, honestly, good luck to everybody at Toronto. Especially anybody playing Danmachi. I would love to be proven right. But, yeah.
That's our show for today. So, tune in next time after your next deck out. And don't you forget to take the refresh point.